Nearly 40 years, that is how long The Legend of Zelda has been taking us on adventures across Hyrule and through time. On February the 21st, 2026, the series is going to celebrate its 40th anniversary, and it's a milestone only a handful of gaming franchises ever reach. Well, the big question is, how is Nintendo going to mark this very special occasion? Is it going to be a small nod like the 35th anniversary, or something as legendary as the 25th? Well, today we're going to look back at how Nintendo celebrated past anniversaries, and we're going to hear from Zelda creators about what they hope for, and also imagining what the 40th could and should look like. Well, if you enjoyed the video or find it useful, hit that subscribe button down below for even more Zelda content here on Triforce Times. Well, today we're going to be diving into our hopes and dreams for Zelda's 40th anniversary, and I've got a fantastic cast of Zelda creators together, and in turn they're going to let you know what they want from these celebrations. So a huge thank you to each and every one of the creators for taking the time to contribute, and if you want to find out more about their content, you're going to find links in the description to their channels, and I definitely recommend you go and subscribe to each and every one of them. Well, Nintendo has a history of marking Zelda's anniversaries in very different ways. The 25th anniversary back in 2011 was a massive celebration. It kicked off with a live orchestral tribute, then a worldwide concert tour, and even a free release of Four Swords Anniversary Edition. Fans got special merchandise, a Zelda-themed 3DS, and the release of Hyrule Historia, the book, a book that became must-have for Zelda collectors. By contrast, the 30th anniversary in 2016 was much more low-key, but still quite meaningful. Nintendo released a special line of amiibo, hosted concerts in Japan, and published gorgeous art books like Art and Artifacts and the Legend of Zelda Encyclopedia. And of course, much of the anniversary spotlight was tied to the building up of hype for Breath of the Wild. More recently, the 35th anniversary in 2021 was much smaller. We got Skyward Sword HD, a Zelda Game & Watch handheld, and a few themed products, but nothing close to the scale of Mario's 35th anniversary the year before. We're looking at these past milestones, one thing is clear: sometimes Nintendo goes all out. Other times the celebrations feel quite modest, and that makes the 40th anniversary such an exciting mystery. Is it going to be global? Is it going to be an unforgettable event? Or is it just going to be another quiet nod to the franchise's history? Okay, next up we're going to hear from the cast of Zelda creators. Once again, thank you so much for everybody contributing. I'm going to pass you over to the first Zelda creator.
I'm a simple being with a simple dream. Lord knows I don't ask for much. But with Zelda's 40th anniversary just over the horizon, there is actually something I would like. And Nintendo, you've already got most of it taken care of. By Zelda's 40th anniversary, I would like every mainline Zelda game to be playable on the Switch too. I'm not just talking about the obvious omission of Twilight Princess, but also the 5 other games not yet on the console, if my math is right, and the 5 which I have never played. Four Swords Adventures and Triforce Heroes, whose multiplayer might find a resurgence online, Wind Waker sequels and the dark horses of the franchise, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, and of course the game I'm constantly being told to play, A Link Between Worlds. And how could I forget, no 40th anniversary collection would be complete without Ocarina of Time's Master Quest. Oh, and just to add them all to NSO, I don't want to pay any extra money. Simple.
Hi, I'm CaptBurgerson. So, we just saw Mario's 40th anniversary in the latest Nintendo Direct, and my pal Triforce Times asked me, what would you like to see for Zelda's 40th anniversary? Now, a handful of things come to mind, but I'll preface this by saying that these aren't necessarily things I believe will happen, not saying they wouldn't either, but I'm not here to gauge likelihood as much as I am here to throw out my own wish lists and pipe dreams. So, with that in mind, the first thing is I'd like more information on the Zelda movie. We know that a Zelda movie is underway. Nintendo has even revealed the lead actors who will be portraying Link and Zelda respectively, but that's all we know. they've been very secretive otherwise. At the very least, I'd settle for a shred of new information, even if it is just more casting announcements. But a full trailer would be ideal. Of course, the movie is slated for release in the first half of 2027, so I doubt they're going to show too much off too soon, but I think it would be a great opportunity to build hype around a project that a lot of the fan community already feels skeptical about. Moving on, you may recall that Zelda's 30th anniversary gave us a line of amiibos. These are some of my favorite amiibo to date, featuring a handful of different versions of Link, of course, and even Toon Zelda from Wind Waker. We have most of Link's 3D appearances as well as an 8-bit version, and they're all great, but there are some gaps in the roster that I'd love to see filled. A few incarnations of Link haven't made the cut, and of course there is Zelda herself to consider. The various versions of Zelda are really cool to see in amiibo form, but they are hugely outnumbered by all the versions of Link. I am a horrible mindless consumer, so I would absolutely snatch these up. Of course, the Zelda series is a gaming franchise first and foremost, so I'd like to see some games. I don't really anticipate seeing a brand new mainline entry into the series so soon, but I wouldn't complain if that were the case. That said, I think an anthology set of some kind would be really cool. Mario got 3D All-Stars for the 35th anniversary, and now Galaxy 1 and 2 coming soon for the 40th. And that's cool, but I think back to the Zelda Collector's Edition back on GameCube, and I really think that it would be neat to see a package like that again. That disc came with both NES and both N64 Zelda titles, as well as a demo for the then upcoming Wind Waker. It was a great little package with a lot of content to offer, and that disc was actually how I personally experienced Zelda 2 for the first time. Nowadays, we have a lot of these games accessible on NSO, but those are essentially the ROMs popped into an official emulator with no additional work done to them. If they were to do an anthology set, I want to see them do it right. I'd like them to do more with it, like add in a soundtrack mode, maybe a small documentary like we've seen other series do, or include some added game modes and additional options, like widescreen support for titles that were previously locked at 4:3 aspect ratio, Master Quest or Hero mode, and what would really seal the deal for me, an official randomizer setting. How cool would that be? And if we can't get any of that stuff, then I'll just say a full remake of the Oracle games, please and thanks. Thank you so much for including me here on the Triforce Times channel. Cheers.
I know we all want Twilight Princess remake, and deep down that's what I want too. But hear me out. What if the reason we haven't gotten it yet is because Nintendo is cooking up something way bigger? And I'm talking theme park big. There's been rumors floating around for years, but no official announcement yet. So imagine a full Zelda land at Universal Studios, taking pictures with Link and Zelda, bumping into Ganondorf, or maybe, yeah, let's be honest, you just want a selfie with Tingle, huh? Either way, getting to step into Hyrule will be a dream come true. The rides, no clue what to expect, but the possibilities are endless. Given the amazing success that they currently have with Super Nintendo World and the newly added Donkey Kong Country area, I have full confidence that they'll build something truly amazing. And here's the thing, the signs are already there. If you have walked around Super Nintendo World, you have probably noticed all of those little Zelda details. And even if you haven't visited, you have seen all of these elsewhere, like the stained glass windows with Ganondorf, Zelda, and Link, from Twilight Princess, by the way, tile designs with the Triforce, the Sheikah Eye, and even Sage medallions. And tucked away in the decor, 8-bit sprites from the original NES Zelda. That doesn't happen by accident, or at least not in my book. Sure, maybe it's just an excuse to sell more Zelda merch, which I'm gonna buy, by the way. Or maybe Aonuma-san was spotted on site just to approve a few Easter eggs, because he was, actually. But what if it's bigger than that? With the live-action Zelda movie in the works for 2027, It just feels that this is the perfect time to roll out a full Zelda theme park experience. And honestly, I can't think of a better way to celebrate the 40th anniversary.
Hey, BreadPirate here. So I don't actually believe in democracy, at least as far as game design and 40th anniversaries are concerned. Now, what I would like to see is not any idea that I could come up with or any idea that another Zelda fan could come up with. What I would like to see for the 40th anniversary of the Zelda series is the unexpected. Something nobody was prepared for, but that we will all be excited about. That is the kind of magic that Nintendo brings to the table every time they bring a Nintendo Direct to the audiences, and that is what I would like. So for Zelda's 40th anniversary, all I'm hoping for is the unexpected. Wow, that didn't take up very much time. It's only 37 seconds. I mean, I could stall if we like, or we... No, you know what, let's just move on to the next person. They probably have a better idea than me. Next!
Hello folks, it's Nayru here, and the problem about bringing so many talented, smart creators onto one video to talk about something like what they want for the Zelda 40th anniversary is that they have covered all of the bases better than I probably could. But there is one thing that I've always wanted from the Zelda series, and it's something I've wished for every anniversary that's rolled around, and I know it's something we're probably never going to get, but that can't stop a guy from dreaming, can it? And that something is what I refer to as Zelda Gaiden. The Japanese term Gaiden essentially means side story, and it's generally used for something that expands on a main story. And in this case, what I really mean is that I would love for Nintendo to release a collection for the Switch or the Switch 2 that included all of the side experiences and spin-offs in the Zelda series that often go forgotten. I'm sure you can think of a couple off the top of your head, but I'm just going to quickly go over everything that I would love to see. First off, I would love for Nintendo to finally give the Tingle games the love they deserve and bring them over in a proper capacity. They could even be the sort of core thing that the Zelda Gaiden package is based around. Bring us freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Ruby Land, and bring us Balloon Trip of Love. I am not joking or memeing when I say that the Tingle games are actually pretty fun. They're not masterpieces by any means, but they're well-made, enjoyable, and quite funny games that I think every Zelda fan at least deserves the opportunity to experience without having to mess around with an emulator. But if people are wanting a big 3D experience, Zelda Gaiden could also have Link's crossbow training on it. And they could even add more content maybe from Breath of the Wild to it if they wanted to. There's no reason they couldn't, since the Switch 2 has motion control same as the Wii did, and despite what people say, Link's crossbow training is actually a pretty good time. I would love to see Twilight Princess Picross added. That's a wonderful game. They'd have to do some work since it was released for the 2-screen DS, but I have no doubt they could transfer it over to the Switch relatively untouched. But what if we went a little deeper and got a little bit crazier? What if we brought over the Satellaview games, the remake of the first Zelda game, and Ancient Stone Tablets, the sequel to A Link to the Past? Nintendo would have to do a lot of work to them for sure. They would either have to use Nintendo Switch Online to emulate the broadcast nature of the titles, or they would have to rework them to be playable single player, pretty similar to the ROM hacks that the games exist as nowadays. But there's no doubt that Nintendo could do it, and it would be the first time a lot of people would get to experience those games. And look, if Nintendo even wanted to, just to finish the whole thing off, they could include those infamous CDI games. Personally, I would love for Nintendo to include them exactly how they are, but they could do a little bit of polishing and fixing up if they wanted to try and polish a turd, you know? But it would be funny just for the legacy to include them. I don't think anybody's gonna do anything other than watch the opening cutscene, but it would be an enjoyable treat. If they wanted to, they could include a bunch of stuff as unlockables. They could include chapters from the manga. They could include music from the Symphony of the Goddesses tour. They could include an episode or two from the cartoons. There's all sorts of stuff that they could fill the game up with as sort of unlockable extras. If anybody has ever played the Sonic Mega Collection, that's kind of what I'm thinking, in the sense that it comes with a whole bunch of little side games and then a bunch of unlockables too. And for the unlockables, you could even include little things like maybe the NES Zelda game or the LCD Zelda games, just little fun side things like that. Again, I know the odds of this happening are almost nothing, but I really think that would be a fantastic thing to announce for the Zelda 40th, and that really does feel like a celebration in the way that a brand new game trailer doesn't quite do for me. Anyways, let me know what you think about this idea, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to everybody here's ideas.
Personally, I've got both realistic and unrealistic wishes For Zelda's 40th anniversary. On the unrealistic side, imagine a brand new Zelda game. I mean, think about how special the 25th anniversary was with Skyward Sword. That was the perfect way to celebrate the event and made it feel truly special. That said, if a new Zelda game is too much work, a massive remake of an existing game would work wonders too. Think about the rumoured Ocarina of Time remake, or a possible Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess one in a similar style. Those would be instant wins for Nintendo. On the more realistic side, on the other hand, I'd also want to see at least some sort of re-release or port like Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, Majora's Mask 3D, etc. Maybe Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD in a nice box like the Galaxy 1 and 2 ports. Or 3D All-Stars back in 2020. Heck, how about Zelda 3D All-Stars? Put Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on a game card in original forms and sell it as a limited edition release. Or heck, how about a 2D one with Zelda 1, 2, A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening? They wouldn't need to be high effort remakes or remasters, just like improved games with quality of life features and a music player, and to tide us over at least a little bit. For smaller releases, an indie collab like Cadence of Hyrule, a spin-off like Hyrule Warriors, or even DLC for an existing game could work well here. Maybe we could get Twilight Princess on Nintendo Music and Switch Online, and some bonus content for Tears of the Kingdom or Age of Imprisonment. Merch-wise, an English version of the Tears of the Kingdom Masterworks book seems like a good bet. The fact this isn't available is just mind-boggling, and the anniversary could be a good way to rectify that. And some other media content would be good to see too. A trailer for the upcoming Zelda movie, since the film's out in 2027 and early 2026 would be a perfect time for a reveal trailer. Similarly, given that Universal Studios is clearly planning a Zelda section in Super Nintendo World, announcing that an anniversary direct would be just perfect. All in all, I'd like to see a new game or remake, some info about the movie and theme park, and some merch that hasn't yet left Japan.
First off, thanks so much for hosting this panel. I'm very excited, more than I probably should be, about Zelda's 40th anniversary. I'll acknowledge up front that my wishlist is definitely full of hopes that are probably unrealistic, but hey, sometimes Nintendo surprises us. So I'll just throw my blue sky ideas out there and sort of speak them into existence. My first dream item would be an announcement of a Grezzo remake of the Oracles games. I've been secretly hoping for this ever since Link's Awakening, which I thought they did a great job of remastering. This is probably my most Delulu wishlist item, but I think it's a game that deserves a new audience. My second ideal would be the announcement of the next flagship Zelda title. I'm honestly not expecting to see much from the Zelda team on this for a few years, but at a minimum, confirmation that they're in development on something new would give the community something to look forward to. Next, while the movie itself won't be out until 2027, by the anniversary date, it should be midway through filming. So it would be interesting if we see something from that, whether it's more stills or a very early teaser. Finally, my most achievable item that I'm hoping to see is Twilight Princess being added to the Nintendo Classics collection. It just feels like pretty low-hanging fruit that the fanbase has been clamoring for, so I'd be pretty surprised if it wasn't added. I mean, ideally, I'd like to see a broader scope of games, like the Wii U HD ports or DS games being added, but at a minimum, I'll gladly take Twilight Princess. In any case, I'm excited to see what's in store, whether that includes any of these ideas or something no one saw coming.
With the Zelda series' 40th anniversary on the horizon, I find myself looking back at another of its birthdays. I've been a Zelda fan for my whole life, but one period I have distinctly fond memories of is 2011, the Zelda series' 25th anniversary. This was made to feel like such a huge event. Not only was it marked by the release of the newest 3D Zelda game, Skyward Sword, which even referenced the series' anniversary at the beginning with the wing ceremony, there was also the release of Ocarina of Time 3D, multiple anniversary events, a website, and, most special of all, music. The 25th anniversary was celebrated with a symphony, the 25th Anniversary Symphony, which performed a few times throughout 2011, and its tracks were featured on a CD bundled with early copies of Skyward Sword. This concert was a precursor to the Symphony of the Goddesses, a worldwide orchestral event which ran up to 2017. I went to see the Symphony of the Goddesses a couple of times myself, and both times were honestly some of the best memories I have with the Zelda series. Having so many Zelda fans together in one place, celebrating it and its history, was just magical. I'd love to see a celebration of the Zelda series on this scale again, and when better to begin than with the 40th anniversary. Of course, 2011 also marked the Japanese release of Hyrule Historia, a bible for Zelda, detailing these games' development, artwork, and lore. It's still, by far, the best physical Zelda book, and launching it at the end of 2011 just topped off what was one of the greatest anniversaries in series history. Hyrule Historia was a massive success, and in many ways helped legitimize Zelda storytelling and lore. So maybe it's wishful thinking, as Nintendo haven't been as active celebrating big anniversaries in recent history as they once were, but I'd love for the 40th to echo the 25th. Aside from new game releases, which obviously I'm always keen for, I'd love for a new book in the same vein as Hyrule Historia, another series-wide look at Zelda artwork and lore. And perhaps above all, I'd pay anything to see another performance of the Symphony of the Goddesses, or perhaps a world tour of a new symphony, not unlike the one live-streamed from Tokyo in 2024.
Okay, next up, I'm going to go through what I want from Zelda's 40th anniversary. So when it comes to the 40th anniversary, I think the dream scenario is something that feels as grand as the Legend of Zelda series itself. Now, fans have been waiting for the Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD to come to Nintendo Switch. A bundled collection of classic 3D Zeldas, or maybe even a full remake of a fan favourite like Ocarina of Time, would make the 40th anniversary unforgettable. Something I would love, but is probably very unlikely, is the return of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. It's a very divisive game. Not the first game that you may think of when you say fan favourite, but I would love to see it given the remake treatment and brought into the modern day. Still to this day gives me 2D Dark Souls vibes, and for me it's got a massive potential. So books and collectibles are almost certain for this event. After Hyrule Historia, the Art and Artifacts and Encyclopedia, it wouldn't be surprising to see an updated compendium that covers Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. A 40 years of Zelda art book could combine never before seen concept art with developer commentary and timelines, much like previous anniversary publications. Special edition consoles, Joy-Con, or even a new Zelda themed hardware bundle could also be on the table. And of course, the biggest dream of all would be tying the anniversary to the announcement of a brand new Zelda project. Whether it's the next mainline title or a surprise spin-off or even just a teaser, just a glimpse of where the series is headed would make the 40th anniversary truly legendary. Nintendo isn't going to release a brand new mainline Zelda game on the anniversary itself, but history shows they do love aligning big Zelda news with milestone years. Okay, next up let's have a look at the challenges. So as exciting as the possibilities are, it's worth remembering that Nintendo doesn't always go as big as fans hope. The 35th anniversary was a good example. After Mario's huge celebrations, many expected Zelda to get the same treatment, but instead we got a much smaller lineup with Skyward Sword HD, a handheld Game & Watch, and some themed merchandise. It was fun, but it wasn't the large-scale celebration that fans had imagined. Another caveat is timing. The next mainline Zelda game is potentially years away, and Nintendo may not be ready to show it off. That may mean Nintendo are restricted to remake or remaster, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There's also the regional factor, so past anniversaries had incredible extras, but some were only available in certain countries. A global franchise deserves a global celebration, but history shows Nintendo sometimes limits events, freebies, or merchandise by region. Fans outside Japan or the US may once again feel left out. So the 40th anniversary does have the potential to be legendary, but expectations need to be balanced with Nintendo's track record. They can surprise us with something incredible, but they've also shown they're just as comfortable keeping things simple. Well, Zelda's 40th anniversary does have the potential to be one of the most exciting milestones in the gaming calendar in 2026, but whether Nintendo goes all out or keeps things modest, their fans are going to be celebrating regardless. From concerts and remasters to books, collectibles, maybe even a brand new adventure, the possibilities are endless. But for now, I really want to hear from you. What do you want to see for Zelda's 40th anniversary? Do you think Nintendo is going to deliver a celebration worthy of the series, or will it be another quiet nod like the 35th? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Zelda content as we count down to the big day. Well, that is it for this video today, and thank you once again to all the Zelda creators who took part. Really appreciate your time and efforts. And as always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for even more Zelda content here on Triforce Times. Thanks again, and I'll see you real soon. Well, thank you so much for watching the video, but today I'd like to let you know about the Triforce Times store. If you like Triforce Times content and you want to get some merchandise, then browse the online store today. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and loads more in all shapes and sizes and colours. Also, if you didn't see something on the store that you want, then let me know in the comments. Comment on the video and let me know what you want to see in the merch store, and I will make it happen. So if you enjoy Triforce Times and want to go above and beyond to support, then the store is a great place to do that. And also, you're going to get some high quality merchandise as well, so check out the Triforce Times store today with a selection of merch below each video, and you can also check out the store link in the description if you'd like to browse the whole store. But this video is brought to you by Triforce Times Backstage. This is available through Patreon or YouTube membership, and you're going to get exclusive benefits, plus you'll be able to go above and beyond to support Triforce Times. Free content is core to Triforce Times, and you can continue to enjoy these videos that you know and love. However, if you want to enjoy the benefits like early access, our community Discord, shoutouts in the credits of videos, content polls and exclusive videos, then select the tier that is right for you and join Triforce Times Backstage today. So help me make Triforce Times be even bigger and better, plus you're going to get some added benefits for a small fee every month. Well, thank you for listening, and now it is time to go back to the video.